Alrighty everyone, so this is my single segment A rank run of Resident Evil 2, Leon B. And I'm going to be getting an A rank here. I'm going to be trying to unlock the Gatling gun, because apparently unlocking the Gatling gun is different in this version of the game, the DualShock version. So hopefully I'll be able to do that, and hopefully I get a good time. I'm shooting for around 130, so yeah. So let's begin. You'll see that my path is really similar to my walkthrough, except I won't be picking up any of the pistol ammo anywhere. I will be picking up shotgun ammo, not all of it though, and I might get the side pack just to make things a bit smoother. Not getting the side pack really cuts your time, so I usually try to avoid it, but this is just a single segment run. It's not like I'm doing a perfect speed run or anything, so yeah, I may get it just to make this smoother. And plus, I'm not going to be saving either, so I can get the Gatling gun. Because as far as I know, you have to beat the DualShock version in under 2 hours, I think, with an A rank, and you can't save the game in order to unlock the Gatling gun. So that is what I'm going to do. And let's skip this scene where Leon lets those guys die there without helping anyone. And let's move on. So as you can see, I have this game memorized. As I said in one of my earlier parts, I do know the B game better than I know the A game. When I was watching over my single segment run of the A game, I did see that I made more than a few mistakes that I could have avoided. I could have beaten the game a lot faster. I'm pretty sure I may beat this faster than I did the A game with Claire, which is really odd because I think this is the longest scenario to beat when you're speedrunning. I think the fastest speedrun for this, or for Leon A, is I think 120 maybe? I believe it's 120. And I think the rest are around like 110 and 115. But yeah, just picked up the wheel, and now I'm running back to where the helicopter was. Alrighty, and we are going to see Mr. X very soon. Our good friend Mr. X. So, I did upload the videos of... Oh, this crow better not. Oh, okay. Every so often, that one crow can get you there. It's so retarded. Really hate that. And I'm running into a wall. Amazing. So, as I was saying, I uploaded the rest of the Echo 6 missions that were released about a week ago for Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City. And so far, I really like the Echo Team missions. I believe that those missions are far better than the USS missions for the most part. The majority of the USS missions were pretty standard, to be honest, and the Echo 6 missions seem to have more variety to them. More little mini objectives, like saving Sherry and building barricades so zombies can't get you and things like that. And of course, if you're watching this single segment instead of actually watching my walkthrough, there are shotgun shells at the helicopter if you click on the helicopter. But I don't know why you're watching this. You should be watching my walkthrough, which is awesome, by the way. Not really, but still, I do know quite a bit about the game, so I give myself a little bit of credit. Not much, though. as is usually pointed out with my annotations. I doubt I'll have annotations in this video, because I already went through all that, and putting annotations in YouTube videos is so... oh god, that was stupid. He usually does his lunge attack at me. It's really odd that he didn't that time. But, as I was saying, YouTube made putting annotations so cumbersome. I don't know what they were thinking about it. I remember back when I started doing the annotations in my videos, which was in my first walkthrough or playthrough, Gears of War, which was a co-op playthrough with my sister. I put the annotations on those videos, and it was so much easier, so much faster, and you know, it was a really painless process. But now it's just so overly complicated. I just can't believe I just got hit by that guy twice. If I get hit again, I'm probably gonna restart this. That was completely uncalled for. I usually don't even get damage through there. It's really strange. But yeah, as I was saying, YouTube just made the annotations editor so much worse than it was. It was just, I don't know. It was just so much easier before. You know, it was a lot easier for me to just like get through putting the annotations really quickly. I used to be able to put up annotations in about maybe 15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes at most. Now it takes me like almost an hour to put annotations, and that's not including the longer video length. Even for the 15-minute videos, it took me a lot longer to do. I don't know what it is about this new editor, but it's just not very user-friendly in my opinion. But YouTube loves to make their ridiculously unnecessary changes, and I will not rag on them any further for fear that they will take my videos down and my channel. Not that it would be much of a tragedy, but I did put in work putting up the annotation, so it would suck if my channel was taken down. Yeah, I probably should start putting my annotations in the videos themselves. But doing that is an even slower process than using the anno editor. Probably not really, but who cares. So shotgun shells here. I'm gonna try to take out 2 of the zombies at once. Alright, I couldn't take him out, but I moved him enough to get to the doorway. So, right now I need to go get the red something. Red crystal or something like that. I don't remember what it's called for some reason. Like, I haven't actually played this game in a while, probably over a month or something like that. I finished the actual playthrough of it a while back, but I was unable to do the commentary because I had that laryngitis. So forgive me if I don't remember all of the names for all of the items. Red Jewel. So of course it was far simpler than I thought it would be. So let's get out of here. And as you saw, you can take out both zombies with 1 shotgun shell, as I say in my walkthrough, which you should watch once again. But I probably shouldn't continuously say that in this video, for fear of turning people off from watching it. But yeah, you can take them both out, but on one of my earlier attempts to play through this, like I tried to do the single segment run back when I did the walkthrough, but I was not satisfied with my time, and I did the same thing where I shoot both of the zombies and run into the room, but for some reason, and I knew it at the time, but I ran into the room early before the zombie's blood came out, and when I came back out, he was standing there. So I don't know, you probably want to make sure that the one zombie starts bleeding, because usually one starts bleeding before the other one. So in order to avoid the zombie being alive when you leave the room, you should probably wait until he bleeds. In this, you need to push around 8.5 times to get it perfectly aligned with the square on the floor. So 8.5 times, which is essentially 9. But yeah, that's how I usually count it in my head when pushing that. I didn't do it on the walkthrough though. So let's go into the stars room. But before we do, let's kill some zombies. Yeah, I love the shotgun in this game. It's really awesome that it's able to hit multiple enemies at once, which I do not think is the case for Code Veronica and Resident Evil Remake, and perhaps Resident Evil 0 also. But in this one, the shotgun is just really, really great. Too bad it wasn't like that for the rest of the games, but, well, until 4 anyway. But I really love the shotgun in this game. It just goes straight through enemies. Sort of like neutrinos. But it goes straight through them without any resistance at all, so as long as you're aiming in the vicinity of certain group of enemies, they'll all be damaged by it.
Hey!
And of course, we are introduced to Sherry, who is going to be in Resident Evil 6. Which sort of surprised me somewhat, because I thought it was Ashley, and in the initial trailer, it sounded exactly like Ashley, but in the newest trailer that was released, she didn't sound as much like Ashley anymore, so I don't know. I don't know if they did that to purposefully deceive people or what. And of course, Claire comes in screaming my name. Too bad it was under different circumstances.
Have you seen a little girl around here?
Yeah, you just missed her. Who is she?
Let me take a drink.
But it's too dangerous for her to stay here alone. Leon, I'll go look for her. You go and find us a way out of here.
Of course. But before I forget, here's a radio. That way we can keep in touch if something comes up.
Yes, indeed, Leon. You are going to be nagged at throughout the entirety of the game by Claire. But anyway, yeah, as I was saying, it was somewhat surprising to me that it was Sherry, but at the same time it sort of wasn't, because I think IGN sort of said that it was Sherry Birkin when the first trailer was released. But I remember a lot of people were saying the new character was Leon. What's his name? Jake? A lot of people were saying that was Leon, like, I don't know, like a few months after his campaign or something like that. Something really strange, and I thought that was really odd of people to say, because he looked nothing like Leon. Even if Leon shaved his head, he wouldn't have looked like that. His voice was completely different, as was his character, because Leon wouldn't just turn his back on the world for money. Because if the world's going to be destroyed, do you really need any money? To be honest. Which is sort of why the Resident Evil live-action movie series is so ridiculous at this point. It's like, what is the Umbrella Corporation's real goal now that the world is completely destroyed? I mean, did they not achieve their goal of releasing the biohazards? I just do not understand it. Then again, I only saw each movie about once, besides the first 2 movies. I did like the first live-action movie. I was fine with it not following any of the main characters of the series. I think when they started bringing the main characters from the games into the movies is when the movies started getting really, really contrived, really ridiculous, because all of the main characters become sort of well, they all fell into supporting roles, and yeah, Alice is the main focus of those films. She is the most powerful thing in that movie series, or that movie universe anyway, because she somehow lost her powers in the beginning of the latest movie that was released. Yet she's the only one who can defeat Wesker, really. I don't get it. I do not get it. And Wesker's killed with... I think he was killed with a shotgun. I think just a shotgun blast to the face or something really stupid. A shotgun blast with... Or was that executioner from Resident Evil 5? I'm not sure. So as you can see, I decided to get the side pack. May as well do so. I have no problem with it. So, solution is up, down, up, down, up. And yeah, that will unlock the door. I'm only going in here first because I think it'll be quicker to do this before I see Ada. Rather than going to see Ada, coming back, then doing that, then running into the room with the liquors, and then running in to get the side pack. May as well do this while I can. But yeah, the live-action Resident Evil films are really, really bad. But as I said, I did like the first one. I did like the second one somewhat, only because of the woman who plays Jill Valentine, who is gorgeous. But besides her, that movie was pretty bad. She did have the look down for Jill, which was awesome, but her actual character was really nothing like Jill. But yeah, Nemesis also sucked in that movie. He just looked really odd, didn't he? It was like Nemesis if he like shrunk a few feet and became obese somehow. And then Nemesis kung fu fighting Alice. Oh man, I cannot believe that. But yeah, Nemesis kung fu fighting. That was something I never thought I'd see. Never even thought of. Actually, I never thought of Nemesis actually being in a kung fu fight.
I've been trying to find another way inside.
I mean, Nemesis always ran around in Resident Evil 3, swinging at you, and that was all he did as far as like melee attacks.
Give me a hand here, will you?
Or melee attacks with any sort of finesse to them, like martial arts. I mean, the rest of the stuff he did was like grabs and things like that with his tentacles. But I don't know. I really don't know what they were thinking with a gigantic monster kung fu fighting. Oh, so stupid. But lucky for me, I had eye candy, which is not a reason to support a movie. But apparently, back when I saw that movie, it was enough for me to watch it more than once. And apparently, Jill is going to be in the newest live-action Resident Evil film. So, yeah. Well, she was in the last one at the very, very end. But, yeah, I guess the newest one is going to have her as an antagonist. But I'm sure Alice is going to have no trouble defeating Jill Valentine. Because Alice, being the Deus Ex Machina she is, has no trouble with anything, really.
Let me guess. You must be Ben, right?
If they do make it that Jill just, like, destroys Alice in that fight, I will have faith in humanity again. And I will probably actually like that movie. Because one of the actual characters from the series doesn't play second fiddle to Alice and her godlike or goddess-like prowess.
About what's been going on, didn't
But
you?
that's enough talking about the Resident Evil films. Or the live-action films, at least.
I'm trying to find my boyfriend. His name's John.
I always hated the way she said John like that.
Umbrella, based in Chicago, but he
His
suddenly
name's
disappeared
John.
6 months ago. I heard a rumor that he's here in the city.
Yeah, whatever you say, lady.
I don't know anything. And even if I did, why would I want to tell you?
That's right, Ben.
Okay, I say we leave him in there. Does anyone know where they put the key to this cell?
Why is Leon so antsy in this scene? He's continuously
right here,
punching
officer.
at the prison bars.
But I'm not about to leave this cell. Those zombies aren't the only things crawling around out there.
Huh, he has a clipping collar.
What was that?
Like I said, I'm not leaving this cell. Get out of here before you lead it right to me.
Hey, I'm not going anywhere.
How
I'm the only
did
cop
Birkin
left
get in
alive
there
this
anyway?
building.
Did he break the door?
What?
I think he probably just
Look,
moved the
if you
door
wanna live,
over,
then you're
actually.
gonna have
'Cause
to
I
leave
think
with
when you
me.
come back here, the door isn't, like, broken or on the floor or anything
But
like that.
do you even know how to get out of the city?
But William
There's a
Birkin
kennel
just,
in
like,
the back of
bitch
the
slaps
building.
this guy, and he
Inside
just
the
goes
kennel is a
down.
manhole. Go through
a
and it'll
super
lead you to
pimp
the sewer
slap.
entrance, but it won't be easy.
Yeah, sure it won't.
All right, I'm going.
Might not be easy for you, but it is easy for me. So let's get the manhole opener. Or I will get the manhole opener. So used to saying let's, because I'm so used to doing the walkthroughs. But anyway, William Birkin, I somewhat touched upon him and his horrible yelling in my walkthroughs, but even when I first played this game, I thought William Birkin's yell sounded so ridiculous. It just sounds so stupid. It's very similar to how they made Nemesis sound in the cutscene for Resident Evil or Operation Raccoon City. When you first see Nemesis with the USS and you take him down and inject him with whatever, the parasite I think it is, he gets up and he picks up his rocket launcher and he says stars, and it just sounds so bad, so bad. I don't understand why they don't use the voice clips that they had for Nemesis from Resident Evil 3. That was by far his best voice. And it's the original voice. I mean, it's not like they can't imitate it again. I really loved his original voice. But, unlike Nemesis, I never cared for William Birkin's voice. I always thought it sounded stupid. When I first played this, I always laughed when I heard William Birkin screaming like that.
I don't think I've introduced myself yet.
So it
My name's Leon.
really
I'm with the
took away
arcade.
from the atmosphere of this game, in my opinion anyway. I'm sure some people love the yell, but
It's
I
a
think
dead
it
end.
sounds stupid. They could
You
have
think
did a
you can
much
get
better
upstairs
job with
through this
Birkin's
shaft?
voice.
Give me a boost.
But then again,
I'll go and
Birkin
check.
sucks. So does the G-Virus. T-Virus forever. T-Virus forever. Yeah, and then now there's C-Virus as of Resident Evil 6. Which I'm fine with. I prefer the actual viruses to the Las Plagas or whatever other infections that they came up with for the
How cute.
later series.
That little girl must have dropped this.
Ooh,
I
excuse me.
think I'll hold on to it for her.
But yeah, it's interesting that they're bringing a new type of virus. And apparently, from some rumors I heard, apparently Nemesis is supposed to be in Resident Evil 6. And if Nemesis is in Resident Evil 6, Jill Valentine has to be in that game. I mean, you can't have Nemesis without Jill Valentine. If Nemesis is in Resident Evil 6 and Jill isn't, I'm gonna be really annoyed. And of course, they did say that there was some sort of fourth campaign that they've yet to talk about. So I'm really hoping that it involves Jill and Nemesis. Because, as you guys know, Resident Evil 3 is probably... Well, Resident Evil 2 and 3 are my favorite classic RE games. And, yeah, I really love Jill Valentine as a character. She's really underutilized, in my opinion. Especially in 5, where she just played a minor role. Well, she was a major role, but you couldn't play as her throughout the entirety of the game, which sucked. And not that I didn't like Sheva. Sheva was fine and all. I had no hatred towards Sheva at all as a character. Mostly because I always played the game co-op. And I know a lot of people hated her AI, which is very understandable, but I don't know, I like Sheva, she's fine. I also like Josh, too. But, yeah, I think Jill Valentine should have been playable. At least after you sort of finished the game, she should have been like a skin or something for Sheva. I mean, let us play as Jill in some way. Though Jill did get a huge role in Resident Evil Revelations, which is probably a better game than Resident Evil 5 is. I mean, the only thing that it doesn't do better than Resident Evil 5 is the co-op campaign, which it does not have. But it does have the other mode, which The name escapes me at the moment. Oh, raid mode. Yeah, you can play that co-op, and it has a lot of the areas from the main game in it. So it is sort of like the co-op campaign, and you also get to fight the final boss in the second last raid mode level, I think. So I don't know. It is sort of like a co-op campaign, but it's more arcadey. I just wish that they included a co-op, the normal co-op campaign in it. But yeah. But I'm guessing that they are going to use that same
Leon,
co-op
can
style
you
for
hear
Resident
me?
Evil 6.
Ada.
Which is,
Did you
you
find anything?
always have the partner with you, but you don't have to sort of keep them
Right
alive like you did in Resident Evil 5, which will be a far better system to have. And
Think
it
fast.
will ameliorate a lot of people's complaints about the game as far as single player goes, if people just want to experience
Hey,
it
I
themselves.
can't reach the ventilation hole. I'm going to have to find another way around. I'll catch up with you later.
Yeah, whatever you say, Ada.
What? Ada, wait!
Leon, come in. I found the girl, and I've cleared the wreckage that was blocking the corridor.
Got it.
Alrighty, so let's get ourselves out of here. Before we go to that corridor, or before I go to that corridor, I have to go into the, go and get the cogwheel. And of course, I'm going to be getting the side pack also. And this spider over here is probably my biggest obstacle playing through that game. Not the one on the wall, the one that's on the floor when you first come out. Every so often, that guy just hits me with poison out of nowhere. So annoying. I hate it. But yeah, I think he is my biggest obstacle playing this game. You have to pass him 3 times, and you can't avoid him. And you can just kill him if you'd like, but as you can see, I like to just run through the game. I don't really kill so often, unless I feel like I have to, or I don't want to deal with the enemy multiple times like Lickers. Lickers I usually kill, but the spiders I always run past because they're really annoying to hit at times too. Even if you're aimed directly at them, sometimes your shots miss. Probably bad programming on their part, but yeah. So in here there are 2 Lickers. Let's hope I do not get destroyed by them. Wow. I'm so surprised I didn't get hit by that. Wow, if I would have got hit by that, I would have restarted this. Oh, I almost forgot to use my herb. So dumbfounded by what just happened. Okay, let me go get that side pack. This is kind of a waste of time, but the extra space will help me because I do like to pick up more ammo than I really need, as well as health items. I don't know, I just like to be on the safe side. And of course I'm not going to be saving this, so I guess having as much space as I can is not a bad thing. Alright, let me take the side pack. I do not want that submachine gun. Complete waste of time to have. Or complete waste of space, really. Alrighty, now I am set. So, a few days ago I picked up Dark Souls. I was about to say Demon Souls, but yeah, it's Dark Souls. Having a really good time with it too. At first, I sort of didn't like the game because I was playing it the wrong way, essentially. I wasn't playing it like an RPG. I was playing it more like an action game, like Ninja Gaiden and stuff like that. So I wasn't really paying attention to, upgrading your equipment and upgrading your swords and stuff like that. But once I started doing that, the game really clicked for me. And it really isn't hard whatsoever. I'm really surprised at it not being very challenging. I mean, well, it is a challenging game, but it's not, you know, god awful hard like, I don't know, Battletoads for the NES or something like that. It's a really fair game for the most part. I did run across a few glitches where I just get damaged for no reason whatsoever, or no logical reason anyway. Like, there's this one area where one of the monsters was stuck in like this gigantic vase or something like that, and I just broke the vase and I damaged the enemy by breaking it, and the enemy fell directly on the floor because of course I broke the vase that he was stuck in. But him falling on the floor somehow damaged me. It took away like half my health. I'm just standing there like, what the hell just happened? I thought I could get them before you bit me. But yeah, the game is really, really fun, really addictive. It is interesting that you can sort of invade other people's games too, which I did not know at first. I thought you could only, like, you know, call co-op partners and things like that, but apparently people can invade your game, which would have been a nice thing to know before I used one of my humanities before a boss fight. And I was gonna try to summon someone to play co-op with me, and all of a sudden my game is invaded. There's this gigantic guy standing in front of me, like glowing red, and I just like tried to dash past him, and just me running into him killed me. I don't know what sort of abilities that guy had on him, but obviously I had no chance against him. Alright, let me pick up the green, or the red herb, I mean. I always like picking up that herb there because you get so little red herbs throughout the entirety of the campaign, so may as well pick them up while they're available. So here comes Mr. X again. But yeah, as I was saying, the game's really, really fun. And after that experience, I decided not to even bother trying to get anyone to play co-op with me, for fear that I'd be obliterated again. Because this is my first time playing any of the Dark games, or Souls games, I guess, because the first one was called Demon Souls. So I'm still really new to it, but the most recent thing I did was defeat a Hydra, which is pretty cool. But the Hydra was a really easy boss battle. I mean, it sort of shoots at you far away from it. Oh, wow, that made sense. You can punch me while I'm behind you. Amazing. But, yeah, the Hydra was a really easy boss battle. I mean, once you walk up to it, it'll just, like, lunge its heads at you. And you can just block that easily and just swing at all the heads. But actually, I don't think the Hydra was a boss battle. I think it was like a mini-boss or something like that. But anyway, yeah, I'm really surprised at the over-exaggeration of the game's difficulty by a lot of sources, by gamers and reviewers. I mean, if you just play the game logically, there isn't much to complain about as far as difficulty goes. Something I do like a lot about it is that you can be killed even by the weakest enemies in the game if you're being careless. So for the most part, if it's your fault that you die in that game. Of course, when you first see a boss, you don't know what to expect. So the game is sort of set up to make you die at times. But I mean, once you know exactly what to do, it is on you that you're defeated. So far, anyway. Not that I'm an expert in Dark Souls. I was thinking of doing a playthrough of it, but I am not sure about that. Since I'm going to be tackling either Resident Evil 3 next, or Metal Gear Solid for the PS1, I sort of brought Metal Gear Solid out of nowhere, in that I kept saying I was going to do a Resident Evil game next, or one of the classic ones, but I don't know. Maybe I'll just take a small break from the classic REs and take that, you jerk. I'll take a little bit of a break from the classic RE games and tackle some of the Metal Gears, because the Metal Gear Solid series is one of my favorites, and it's really fun to play. So I hate when I skip that cutscene. I pause the game. And I was also thinking about maybe going back to Resident Evil Director's Cut and playing through with Jill, because I don't know, I completely skipped over playing as Jill for some reason. Probably because I just want a Resident Evil Director's Cut over and done with. I mean, it took me a while to completely finish that, and I had a lot of bad luck when recording and playing through that game. I remember I lost a PS3 while I was in the middle of doing that walkthrough, so I don't know, I guess I just wanted to go on to something new. But I don't know, I might go back to Director's Cut with Jill Valentine, and especially now that I have the unlimited video length that I can upload, I may be able to do that in about 3 or 4 parts. So I don't know, I might do that. I don't know. I said I don't know too much, but yeah, I'm really on the fence about what to do next as far as these classic games go. And of course, right here, I'm going to shoot Mr. X down because I want more Magnum ammo. So take that, Mr. X. Alright, come on, go down. Thank you. I'm not sure what you get from killing. I'm not sure if you always get Magnum ammo from shooting him down or what. But this is the only spot that I always shoot him down in. So, yeah. But as I was saying, I'm not really sure about which one I'm definitely going to do next. But it's going to be one of those games. Resident Evil 3, Resident Evil Director's Cut as Jill, or Metal Gear Solid. Or maybe I'll do Resident Evil Director's Cut and Metal Gear Solid. That'll probably be good. I probably should do Resident Evil Director's Cut before I do 3, because 3 does have Jill as the main protagonist. And since I haven't showed any Jill gameplay, as far as the classic series goes, I may as well do it now. I mean, why go do Resident Evil 3 now and then go back and do Director's Cut? And plus, playing through Director's Cut with Jill is a lot easier. God damn it, that's exactly what I wanted to avoid. I was gonna just run up to him with the Magnum and just blast him. Either way, I would have gotten damage from shooting him with the Magnum, but it's just a lot faster to do. But no, I wanted to avoid damage, and that's what happens. Should have just stuck with my initial plan. And of course, zombies are going to be breaking through the windows now. Not that I give a damn, because I'm never going through those areas again. So, yeah, huge threat. Gigantic threat. So of course, once again, there's a red herb over here. And as I said before, I always like to pick up the red herbs whenever I see them. And we are going to be coming across a blue and green herb pretty soon, so I thought I may as well pick it up now so I could just combine them all. So yeah, the extra space it definitely came in handy. I'm glad I made the decision to pick it up. Pick up the side pack anyway. Alright, so this run is not going too badly right now. Definitely fine with it so far. There are a few little hiccups along the way. With the liquors, mostly. Well, it was just that one section where I got damaged twice by that guy. And the last part where I just got damaged by the liquor that I was trying to avoid damage from, but either way, I would have been damaged by him if I had gone with my other plan, so who cares? Get that Scum. Love that line. Oh yeah, something else that I was thinking of. The Game Boy game, the Resident Evil Game Boy game, Resident Evil Gaiden, which stars Barry Burton. I was also thinking of playing that game. I do not know that game too well, though, which is the sort of downside. I did own it for the Game Boy Color, and I think it was for the Game Boy Color anyway. Yeah, it was. As far as I remember anyway, I'm pretty sure it was a Game Boy Color game. But yeah, I did own the game. I never beat it back when I owned it. Or I still own it right now, but I never beat it back when I first got it anyway. I have beaten it on emulators though, but I do not remember the game very well, so I'd probably have to go through it like once or twice before I actually did a walkthrough for it. Or playthrough, because who's really playing Resident Evil Gaiden nowadays? I mean, it makes sense that people still play these games because they're readily available, but is Resident Evil Gaiden really so readily available to everyone? But then again, I mean, most computers can handle Game Boy emulators, so who cares? I just think that game is funny. It's a really funny game, it's really odd, and I do not know why they didn't just go ahead with the original idea of creating or recreating Resident Evil for the PSX for the Game Boy. Because from what I saw, that port was going pretty well as far as Game Boy games go. It looked really good.
Got the story.
Oh yeah, and I also forgot to comment on the Super Pimp Slap that completely destroyed Ben's torso. I mean, look at how damaged his torso is. It's just ridiculous. And here comes my favorite line.
Scum. Make him
Pay.
Hang in there, Ben.
Yeah, don't hang in there.
Leon.
Yep, Ada.
Where are you going, Ada?
To the chemical plant. I have a feeling that's where I'll find John.
Huh, women's intuition.
Ada!
Wrong
wait.
again.
Hey!
So I guess I am sort of set on doing Resident Evil Director's Cut.
Are you crazy?
One of the main reasons being
zombies.
Barry Burton. I mean,
It'll be all right.
I seriously cannot get enough of that guy.
Follow us later.
I really hope
Claire.
he appears
Claire!
in some way, shape, or
wait.
form in Resident Evil
Man,
6.
why doesn't anyone ever listen to me?
Because Barry Burton is awesome. I love his lines so much. He has the greatest lines in history. But yeah, and of course, if I play through Director's Cut, we'll also get to see Richard, who has the worst voice actor in the game, but his voice actor is so awesome because of it. I think the only game that has better voice acting than the original Resident Evil, or better voice acting in that it's so bad it's good, is House of the Dead 2. House of the Dead 2 has like the greatest cast ever assembled for anything in existence. I love the House of the Dead 2 voice actors. I love that game so much. Such an awesome game too, especially back when it first released on the Dreamcast. I loved playing through that game. And of course the voice acting helped me play through that game a lot more, but yeah, awesome game. If you ever get the chance to play it, House of the Dead 2, still the best in the series in my opinion. House of the Dead Overkill was okay. House of the Dead 3 was good. I never played 4 though, and 1 was pretty close to as good as 2, but House of the Dead 2 was amazing. Probably my favorite light gun game too. But now we are fighting William Birkin. who is not a threat whatsoever. Shoot him 6 times with the Magnum. You don't even have to maneuver around him or anything. He is a total pushover. As I was saying, the G-Virus sucks. But apparently in Operation Raccoon City, the G-Virus has gotten a gigantic boost in power because William Birkin does not go down at all. In this form, anyway. I mean, he's in this form throughout the entirety of the game so far, unless they change that in Echo 6's campaign toward the ends. But yeah, he's always in that form, and he takes an amazing amount of damage. But then again, Nemesis is shown to be just as strong as him, is not stronger, because he gets like liquid metal poured upon him, or burning liquid metal poured upon him, and he's still like unscathed by it.
Reckless and stupid. Those zombies are everywhere. Not to mention that thing that got Ben.
I was there, Leon. I know.
Look, Ada. As an officer, it's my job to look out for you. But we're not going to get through this alive if we don't work together. Okay?
All right. We'll do this your way for now.
Alrighty. So from here on out, the game should be pretty smooth. The police station is really the hardest part to maneuver around. It has the most treacherous paths in it. I mean, once we get to the lab is really simple. The area coming up is a joke, really, and the boss battles are really easy too. But let's hope I did not jinx myself. Did I just say jink? But yeah, jinx. Okay. And I almost forgot to pick up the valve handle. If I would have forgotten that, then I would have restarted the playthrough. Because I hate having to run back and pick up the valve handle. I did not mind it in my walkthrough because I was showing you guys where to get more ammunition and things like that. But when I'm actually doing this game on my own, I hate it when I forget the valve handle. I just restart the entire thing if I need it.
Ada! Heads up!
Leon, that woman was... I have to talk to her.
Something that I sort of like in the Claire B game a lot is that you see Leon like sitting there. He's like bandaged up, just sitting on the floor. And if you click on him, I think he just says Ada or something weird like that. Claire doesn't even bother talking to him, as far as I remember anyway. Because as I said in my walkthrough, I only played through the B game, or Claire B, like once or twice at most. I probably should go back through it and play that, just to see the differences. Or then again, I could just watch somebody else's walkthrough. Or playthrough, or speedrun or something. So now we get a long scene of exposition. And while this exposition is playing, I am going to see how much time I have left on my recording device, and I'm probably going to replace it.
Don't move.
So I will be back after this little bit of dialogue is over.
Identify yourself.
Ada
Okay,
Wong.
so apparently I have more than enough time left.
Ada Wong.
So
I've heard that name
I will
before.
continue to talk.
Now I remember. One of the men from Chicago who came to assist the T-Virus.
So I
research
did
used his
record
girlfriend's name as his password.
My Batman Arkham City no damage run on
How
New
did you
Game
know?
Plus.
Who are you?
Well, I recorded about half of the game,
Annette Birkin.
and I just never got around to
Marcus was
uploading
the
it.
man
So I have
responsible
those
for the
as
creation
like
of
on my
the
back
T-Virus.
catalog of things to
William Birkin.
upload. For some reason, I just don't feel like
John's
uploading
dead.
those now.
He became one of those zombies.
It seems sort of redundant to upload those as well, because I already have the normal no damage playthrough up.
I won't
And
let
is
anyone
anyone really gonna
take
watch
my privacy.
my New Game Plus no damage run? I don't know.
G-Virus?
It's capable of creating.
Plus,
the
it did have
ultimate
video and
firewall.
video in it,
Its
or at least I
potential
tried
is
to do the video and video.
the T-virus.
It did
And that
glitch
would
out
mean
somewhat,
the
so I
creature in the
might have
police
to work
department is
on like fixing
precisely
that a bit, but
my husband, William.
I don't know. I just think it's somewhat
And
redundant.
it's all Umbrella's fault.
I mean, I will upload
None of
like
this
more
would have happened
damage,
if they
or
hadn't tried
more
to
damage.
steal his research
I
away
will
from him.
upload more of the no damage stuff for Arkham City when the new downloadable
Where did you
content
get
comes
that?
out. Harley Quinn's Revenge,
Exactly
or whatever it's
when I
called.
gave Sherry.
But
She dropped it. I've been holding on to
yeah,
it for her.
I mean, after
Liar!
that, I don't really
Give it
plan on
back to
doing any
me.
more no damage for Arkham City. I'll probably just delete all the no damage New Game Plus stuff I did. But then again, I will probably upload it whenever I have some, or whenever I'm too busy or something like that to do any sort of playthroughs. I'll probably just start
Too bad.
uploading that one. Who knows? And as usual, I do not understand why that pendant becomes so gigantic when she holds it in her hand. And it's really tiny when it's on her chest. I mean, it can't be that her chest is so much bigger than her hands, because if you look at her hands in-game, or the in-game model of her hands, they're far bigger than the pendant on her chest. But yeah, who knows?
Ada?
Alrighty. So now we are Leon again. So let's make our way toward Ada so she can patch us up. Because apparently she's too good to patch us up while we're lying unconscious on the floor. But she's not too good to patch us up when we go to her for help. I guess we just had to ask her for help. But, yeah, something that was announced today that I'm really looking forward to is the new the new Sonic and Sega All-Stars racing game. Apparently this time around your vehicle transforms somewhat like Mario Kart 7, but it seems to be a bigger focus than it was in Mario Kart 7, because in that game, when you fly, you were just gliding, but it seems like in the Sonic game you're actually flying around, and when you go into the water, you go underwater, but in the Sonic one, it seems like you're hovering above it. But either way, I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, it does take some ideas from Mario Kart, because they are sort of trying to compete with them, I guess. But, as blasphemous as this may or may not be, I actually enjoyed Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing better than both Mario Kart Wii and probably Mario Kart 7. I did play Mario Kart 7 a lot, but there's something about Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing that I really like a lot. I like its boosting mechanic is what it is. It's like, I don't know, you can just continuously boost throughout the level if you're good enough. And it's not like something that's really, really easy to do. You do need to have some sort of skill to do it. Unlike in the newer Mario Karts where you just, I don't know. It seems like they made the drifting or whatever a lot easier in the newer installments than it used to be. Not that it's necessarily a bad thing, but it seems to take away from some of the strategy. But I think Mario Kart 7 did a really good job with it. Far better than Mario Kart Wii. Mario Kart Wii just felt really unbalanced at times. Where you just get decimated by like 6 items at the same time when you're in first place.
Leon.
I mean, that still happens a bit in Mario Kart 7, but it's nowhere near as frequent. And like in Mario Kart Wii, it seemed like all of the AI was just waiting for you to go in first place so they could just bombard you with items. But
I just found
in the
out.
case of Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, it was really easy to remain in first place,
Never mind.
even on the hardest
Let's just get
difficulties.
out of here.
But even though it wasn't as hard as Mario Kart is, as far as the offline component does, the online more than made up for that, because, I mean, everybody knew how to drift and things like that, so it really came down to who had the most skill. It does sort of have a little bit of luck to it, depending on what items you get, but it's not as random as the newer Mario Kart seem to be. But then again, it's sort of off topic to be talking about a kart racing game while playing Resident Evil. But I will say that I am looking forward to Sonic 4 Episode 2. I know a lot of people really detested Episode 1. I did not. I mean, the physics were off. I mean, it was a really short game. It did rehash a bunch of things, but it wasn't a bad game by any means. It sort of falls into the same vein as Ninja Gaiden 3, where they aren't bad games, but they are sort of watered down versions of their predecessors. But that in no way makes them, I mean, horrible games. Makes them somewhat disappointing, but it doesn't make them horrible. I don't know, I think people just like to over-exaggerate some things. But I will say that the physics were really, really odd in Sonic 4 Episode 1. But the game was made with those physics in mind, so... I mean, it really worked once you got used to it. But yeah, that's enough of that. Unlike the Earthworm Jim remake, where the physics are just a little bit off, and it really, really gets to me in that game for some reason. I mean, it's not like Sonic 4, where the game isn't like a remake of one of the older Sonic titles. So, like, when you made a certain jump, that was exactly, I don't know, like 2 feet wide or something like that. Not 2 feet wide, say 10 feet wide or something like that. And you know how the physics worked in the old game, and when you tried to do it in a new game, it was just completely different. Well, that's how it sort of is for me with the Earthworm Jim remake. The physics are just off slightly, and it really gets to me because I knew the original game so well. I used to play the Genesis game quite often when I was younger, and I knew every secret. I knew how to beat the game really simply. I remember everybody complaining about how hard the remake was, but I think it's easier than the original game, to be honest. I think it was too easy. I think they made it too easy. I remember people saying that normal mode was a good mode to start on, and I started on normal mode, and it was just like devoid of a lot of what made Earthworm Jim so great. So I ended up playing on original mode, and they did bring back the majority of what made the game great, but something off about the physics in that game that really, really got to me while I was playing through it. But yeah, that's enough about physics and platformers. Back to Resident Evil. I'm still doing really well, which is surprising me. I'm sort of yammering on and on about trivial nonsense. I'm having a hard time aiming. Should be fine now. I mean, really, this is what the G-Virus produces. The guy who just rams his arm continuously through one hole. I mean, this is the greatness of the G-Virus. Really? I just don't get it. I mean, I know that it's unpredictable in the way it reacts to things, or the way it mutates people, but, I mean, who cares? Just because it's unpredictable doesn't make it better. But then again, it probably does. But it just doesn't seem like it's any better than the T-Virus. I mean, William Birkin just continuously evolves, but Nemesis essentially did that too in Resident Evil 3, and it took a lot more to kill Nemesis than it does to kill Birkin. Birkin just dies from an explosion. Nemesis needed a gigantic cannon to destroy him, and even that thing didn't destroy him with the first hit. Actually, it didn't destroy him at all. Jill had to actually manually destroy him with a Magnum after he was destroyed by a gigantic laser, so I don't know. It just seems like Nemesis was a far greater enemy than Birkin was. And I'm pretty sure that Nemesis was a product of the T-Virus. But yeah, hopefully the C-Virus is more formidable. Yes. I love getting the headshots right there. Alright, so this is that area that I just passed is an area that I worry about somewhat. Every so often I do get bitten by one of the zombies in that area I just passed, so I'm happy that I did not.
Hidden here.
And as I said in my walkthrough, I love this song so much. I love the majority of them. Actually, I love all the songs in this game. Unlike the Resident Evil Director's Cut, where a lot of the music was just not as good as the original. But some of the music was better, so whatevs. Alrighty. And contrary to popular belief, you can use first aid sprays if you want to get an A rank. I'm not sure what the limit is on how many first aid sprays you use, but you can use them. If I do get damaged enough, I most likely will use one. Just to show you guys that you can. I'm not gonna go out of my way to get damaged though, but if it happens, it happens, and I will use the first aid spray to show you that you can get an A rank. But as far as I can tell, getting an A rank really just entails you just getting a fast time. I mean, I don't really pay attention to anything else. Just try to beat the game in under 2 hours. Oh yeah, and don't save the game more than once. Those seem to be the main factors in getting an A rank, as far as I know anyway. There are a lot of conflicting reports about how to get it, but that's how I do it. I do use first aid sprays. Like once or twice. I'm not sure. I think I might have used a first aid spray 3 times on an A rank run, but I don't know. That might be pushing it. But yeah, you most likely won't even need to use 3 first aid sprays, or even 2 for that matter. There are more than enough herbs around, and you can get a fast time pretty easily, even while just exploring around, as you saw in my walkthrough.
Come on, let's go.
Even though I didn't get an A rank in the walkthrough, but that was most likely because I saved pretty often. And I did dilly-dally somewhat. And who says dilly-dally? Dilly-dally, shilly-shally, as Tifa likes to say. So, are they ever going to remake Final Fantasy VII? Who knows? I think they're afraid to. I don't know. Square Enix just seems off lately. Just like Capcom. But I do not want to go into that. Into how odd the companies are nowadays. And how greedy they seem to be with downloadable or dislocked content. But, yeah. Fist to the face, Ada.
Ada! Ada!
Or
Can you
open
hear me?
hand to the face.
Come on, snap
Palm
out
to
of
the
it.
face. Face palm. Okay. So let's fight the new incarnation of William Birkin. I'm going to try to do this a little bit differently this time than I did in my walkthrough. I'm going to try to run toward this side when he has a few hits left to just get over here faster, so I don't have to run all the way back here. I really hope we get to see this version of Birkin in Raccoon City in one of the Echo 6 campaigns, one of the later ones. We'll most likely get to see a later incarnation of Nemesis, but it would be cool to see this version of Birkin, because the way they did this guy in Darkside Chronicles was really cool. Like, they made his other arms sort of wing-like. They did a really good job designing him, in my opinion. And he seemed like a much more formidable enemy than he does in this game. Okay. It takes about 10 shots to kill him. So as you saw, I've drained 8 of my shots, and he should be gone right now. And he is. So yeah, once again, Birkin is a pushover, and you do not have to worry about him at all. So now we are going into the lab area, which is the easiest area in the game. Oh, excuse me. But it is the easiest area in the game. Well, we do need to do a little bit before we get to the actual lab itself, with Leon. That being pushing a box, but...
Hey, take it easy. We're
Yeah.
inside Umbrella's secret lab.
It's pretty
I'll go
easy,
find
so from
something to
here
treat
on,
that
it should be a
wound, so just
straight
rest here in
shoot.
the meantime.
I should be able to finish this
I'll only
at
slow you
about
down with these injuries.
1:30,
No.
I guess.
Save yourself.
I might be able to finish it a bit quicker.
Is it just me, or does everybody always ignore
Because
what I say?
this has been capturing
told
for
you,
about an
it's
hour
my
and
job
5
to look
minutes
after
and
you.
taking into account some of the cutscenes.
You'll be in danger if you stay with me.
I should be
I
able
know
to beat it
I've
in about
only
an hour
known
and
you
30
a
minutes,
short
so
period of time,
yeah.
but I really enjoy being.
As long as I don't botch my box pushing, I should be fine.
I know. I'm not
That is my
capable
biggest
of
obstacle
caring
right now,
about
pushing
anyone,
that box.
But I don't want to lose you.
Yes, of course you don't,
We're
Ada.
leaving
Come
this
on.
place together. Wait here for me. I'll be right back.
Alright, let's leave our lady love Ada. And let's find a way out of this place. Okay. I don't know if you actually run faster for unequipping, but yeah, just do it anyway. Let's go through this vent that apparently only Sherry could go through until now. We should skip this. Yep. Alrighty, on to the box pushing. I hate pushing the items in this game. Or in any of these classic Resident Evil games. I just hate that you can't pull things. Always annoyed me. That you couldn't just pull the box. I mean, it makes more sense with the box, I suppose. But when it came to like certain statues and things like that, it just did not make any sense whatsoever. But once again, who cares what makes sense and what doesn't make sense? It is a classic game, so yeah, deal with it. Alright. So far, so good. So something else, or one other random video that I may be doing in the coming weeks. And why are you not pushing the box, Leon? Are you serious? I guess I don't have enough room behind him? Wow. Amazing. Well, that annoys me somewhat. I mean, I'm not gonna restart this just because of that, because, I mean, for the most part, I did pretty well, so... Now, if I do get pretty damaged by the liquors in the next room, I will be restarted. But, yeah, something else that I may be doing in the coming weeks is playing, going back to Resident Evil 5 and doing Desperate Escape, no damage, for my page anyway. I've done it before, but I'd like to have some videos of it up, because my 5 playthrough seems somewhat incomplete, and I did sort of rush through doing the commentary in those videos, which kind of sucked. Now that I go back and watch it, but yeah, I may as well combine this now, because I can take more damage with the normal shotgun. Oh wow, I got I shot the screen. Nice. Oh man, I kind of wish I would have done that in my normal playthrough. Then I wouldn't have had to do that thing at the end of the last video where I just shot the screen with the pistol. That was a way nicer shot too, huh? But yeah, anyway, the playthrough seems somewhat unfinished to me, and that may be because of my lazily done commentary in those videos. I really apologize about that. Like, I just did a little bit of commentary in the beginning of one. I mean, the video that I did the most commentary for was the chapter 2-3 one, I think it was, where you're on the gun turrets, just because you have to take damage in that level as far as I know. But I really wish I would have taken the care to do the rest of the videos that way. And of course, I never go back to watch my Resident Evil Director's Cuts videos, just because I'm a little self-conscious about those videos. Even though those are my most popular of my playthrough videos, but I don't know. I just can't go back and watch them. I do like the annotations though, and that was back when I could put more dialogue in the annotations because the editor didn't suck YouTube. But yeah, and I should not have run into the new zombie here. Oh, come on. On caution. Damn it. Well, I guess now I will show you that you can use the first aid spray and get an A rank. So yeah, there you go. I used the first aid spray, and you will see later that I get an A rank. It will suck if I don't get an A rank. And of course there's another first aid spray up ahead, so it doesn't really matter that I use that one there. But it sucks being on caution when you're just trying to run through the game, because you do run pretty good, or pretty significant amount slower, or significantly less quickly, or syntax error. But yeah. So you make the fuse case, or the main fuse, and let's do the exact same thing in this completely desolate laboratory. This is the most desolate laboratory in the series, but it does make it easy to run through, so I do not complain about it. And of course, if you do want to get some of the extra stuff in the laboratory, there are far more obstacles to come across. So I guess that's why they did it, because for all of the optional things that you can get in the lab, you do have more resistance. But if you're just running through the lab to complete it, there isn't much for you to go through, besides some of those plants and some liquors. And of course a few zombies, but they're all easily dispatched of, so. Definitely hoping I beat this in about 1:30. I think the fastest speed run, as I said earlier, was about 1:20, so it'll just put me 10 minutes off of the fastest speed run that I know of anyway, for Leon B. Not that I'm trying to do a speed run, but it will be nicer for me to upload too, because it'll make the file size smaller. Alrighty. But yeah, as I was saying, I'll probably go back to Desperate Escape and do that if I'm not too busy, because I've essentially decided to do Metal Gear and Resident Evil Director's Cut with Jill before I do Resident Evil 3, so yeah, that should be fun to do. A return to Resident Evil Director's Cut. Hasn't been that long since I've done videos, but it really seems like it has. And these liquors really gave me an easy time, thankfully. Alrighty. I probably should have picked up one of those herbs, but screw it. Actually, I think I have 2 green herbs in my item box, so when I pick up the red herb, I should be fine. Alright. So I was right in not picking those up. Okay, so let's use that W box key, or the weapons box key, as far as I remember anyway. And yeah. And I will be picking up the red herb when I come back. For some reason, it just seems like it's faster to pick it up when you come back. Probably isn't, but who cares. Extra parts for the Magnum. Okay. So I won't be killing every zombie here, just the ones in my way. Or the ones that I think are a threat. When I was playing the walkthrough, I think I killed them all with the Magnum. And what am I doing? Seriously? There we go. You were coming a little bit too close there, buddy. Okay. Alright, so now my biggest threat is Mr. X. In one of my earlier attempts at doing this, after I had finished my walkthrough like a month or two ago, I did the game essentially perfectly. And when I got to Mr. X, both of my rocket launcher shots went through his body. And I didn't save the game, so that really pissed me off. I think I might still have the footage of that somewhere on this computer. If I can find it, I will put it up, but I may have deleted it just because it really pissed me off. I mean, both of my shots went right through his body. I could not believe that. I mean, every so often, one of my rockets goes through, but I've never seen them both do that. It's just really strange. But yeah. Anyway, we are almost there. So the next thing I'm going to have to do is dodge Mr. X, I think. When he pops up when Annette Birkin, I think her name. Oh yeah. When Annette tries to kill Leon. And of course, those plant enemies are really easy to dodge in this section. But they are really annoying enemies when they grab you. I hate it when those things grab you and just pour all the poison all over your body. Alright, I'll kill this freaking zombie that bit me last time. And yes, these zombies do disappear when you come back up here to get Sherry. Even if they were all alive here, they will be gone when you come to get Sherry. So, in my walkthrough, I wasn't completely sure about that. But I am 100% sure that they do disappear now. Alrighty, Annette Birkin, try to kill me, as you always do. I love how she just accuses everyone of everything.
You murdered my husband. I know what
apparently
you're
I did.
looking for. You came for the G-Virus, didn't you? You'll never take it from me. This is my husband's legacy.
Alrighty, who cares?
Where's that spy you were working with earlier?
So, anyone going to pick up Call of Duty Black Ops 2? I think they announced that like last week or something like that. And I, for one, will not be picking it up. I didn't buy Modern Warfare 3 either. I didn't buy Black Ops either. I'm just done with the Call of Duty series. I do have Modern Warfare 3, but I didn't buy it myself. Someone else bought it for me. But I am just completely disinterested in that series now. Modern Warfare 3 kind of annoyed me.
That can't be.
Because I'm sure
something like that.
probably like 98% of the fan base of Modern Warfare. I actually played it to play through the story modes because I like the set pieces in the games. The stories themselves really make little sense, but I like the set pieces, and I did like some of the characters, like Soap, that you played in each of the titles at the very end of the game. But for some reason, spoiler alert for anyone who gives a damn, but Soap dies about 70% of the way through Modern Warfare 3. He gets the most ridiculous death possible. It really made no sense that he'd die there, but I mean, the campaign was okay. The Spec Ops was alright, but the games are just not worth $60 in my opinion. They're just so bare bones. There could be so more to the campaigns. Why isn't there a co-op campaign like there was in World at War? Even though I never owned that game, but I did play it with a friend, and it was pretty fun to play through the single player. It wasn't the greatest game in the world, but it would definitely give the Call of Duty campaigns far more replay value. The Spec Ops missions are fun and all, but they do get really old. I don't care for survival modes like Horde mode and things like that in those games, so survival I don't really care about. They should have just included the zombies mode from Black Ops. That mode was better than the survival mode in Modern Warfare 3, but I do prefer the Spec Ops missions to the Zombies mode. But yeah, once again, that's enough talking about these other games. But yeah, I'm done with the Modern Warfare series. I'm really done with first-person or military shooters in general. I'm just sick of them. I mean, it's
Leon,
really a trend,
please,
just like the Guitar Hero
escape.
thing
No.
was. Where they're
We're a
just running
team.
it into the ground,
I
and
can't just
no one's
leave
going to
you
be buying those
behind.
games in a few years. Besides hardcore fans, of course.
Just a woman,
Or besides their initial fan base before they got huge.
nothing more.
Huh, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna do it this time, but I initially intended to do a bunch of like different screaming scenes, or splice in a bunch of different screams.
Ada.
Like he screams Ada, then I was gonna
No.
put in the Khan scene from Star Trek. But I don't know, I guess it's sort of not very tasteful to do anymore. And plus his yell, his Ada yell in the Leon B game is far better than his yell for Ada in the Leon A game. His yell for her in that one is just stupid.
I will always remember you. Goodbye, Ada.
Alrighty, Ada. My sleeping beauty, I must leave you. Pick up the master key. Save Sherry Buchan. Why the accent, I do not know. I don't know what kind of accent that was. And oh my god, it is Mr. X, who reaches his arm out of the pit of fire, but when you go back down there, he's back in the fire. So did he just decide to go back in after he reached his arm out? Who knows?
Is that you?
Who knows why
Where are
Mr.
you?
X does what he does? He's such a complicated character. So nuanced is Mr. X. So nuanced.
I left her in the security office. Please, you must save her.
Wait a second. What are you gonna do? Where are you going?
I still have a few loose ends to take care of. I'm counting on you.
Hello? Claire, are you there? Claire! The security office?
Alright, let's be on our way, Leon, with the awesome music playing in the background. As I gushed over in the last part of my walkthrough, and this is seeming somewhat familiar because I just did the commentary for this area last week, and now I'm playing through this again and doing commentary. So, deja vu. But as I said in that video, I love this song so much. It's my favorite ending theme for Resident Evil, or for the exploding laboratory things in the Resident Evil games. Oh yeah, it's something, I don't know, I don't really get the hate that a lot of people sort of harbored toward Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City.
Claire is waiting for you.
And I'm not saying that you shouldn't hate the game at this point, like people did with Ninja Gaiden. I mean, the hate toward Ninja Gaiden was really uncalled for the most part. I mean, the game isn't great, but it is a good game. It's a 7 at most, 6 at least, I think. But it's in no way a 3, it's in no way a 4. It's far better than most action games out there. It is above average, but I mean, you have to look at what you're comparing the game to. I mean, what other action games are there besides the, I mean, really great ones like Bayonetta, and or I mean, what other hack and slashes are there like Bayonetta or the original Devil May Cry series? Not counting the new one, because that looks like a train wreck. The gameplay looks really slow, really dumbed down. It looks far less nuanced than even a God of War game, but I do not want to get into that. But yeah, a lot of the hate that was harbored toward Ninja Gaiden was really unfounded. The reviewers just had sort of an agenda against that game, to be honest.
Just rest here.
I mean, I suppose they thought they were... I don't know. They thought they were tough shit because they played through Ninja Gaiden on normal mode or something like that. And I'm checking my camera really quick. Sorry about that. I'm checking my camera while I'm talking. Yeah, I mean, what's it really mean if you beat Ninja Gaiden on normal mode? I mean, the true challenge was on Master Ninja. I'm sure the majority of reviewers did not, or mainstream reviewers anyway, did not even touch Master Ninja mode. And I need to fix something. Sorry about that. Alrighty, that will be edited out. That was a long pause. So, yeah, as I was saying, these reviewers have really biased agendas, in my opinion. I mean, they give a game like Modern Warfare 3 perfect scores across the board, and yet they give Ninja Gaiden 3, which is essentially a rehash, or actually, it's not even a rehash. It did try things new. I mean, it did fail at the majority of the things it did try new. I mean, Steel and Bone mechanic is too inconsistent to rely on. Normally, the enemy artificial intelligence is not that great in the game. Too many enemies rely on invincibility frames and throws. But once again, that is on higher difficulties. The majority of the reviewers complain about the game being too easy. And that alone tells you that they had no idea what was wrong with the game, truly, because if they had legitimate complaints about the game, it would have been the slowdown, the bad enemy AI, or the cheap enemy AI, to be honest, because the AI itself isn't bad, it's just cheap. That is, until they released the Scythe. The Eclipse Scythe really ameliorates a lot of the issues with fighting some of the bigger enemies. I mean, those gorilla guys, you can completely destroy them with the Eclipse Scythe. You can actually juggle them, and those snake things are a complete joke with the Scythe. But once again, this is going from when the game was released, when it was brand new. It only had the sword, and the majority of the cons that were brought up for the game were completely unfounded. I mean, you complain about the game being too easy, play it on a higher difficulty just to check it. I mean, if I was reviewing a game and I thought it was too easy on normal mode, I'd go on hard mode just to see if it was still as easy. And Ninja Gaiden 3 on hard mode is just as hard as Ninja Gaiden 1 or Ninja Gaiden 2 on normal modes. So, if anything, it's harder actually because of the cheap enemy AI. But anyway, Mr. X decided to come out of his steam bath and actually fight us. So I'm really hoping that my rocket launcher shot does not fly through his body again. I'm gonna make sure this time that I'm far away from him.
Here, use this.
Thank you, Ada.
Ada, is that you?
And this scene in particular is sort of why I never liked the Claire B scenario, because it just did not make sense that Ada would have helped Claire there. To me, anyway. I mean, Ada knew nothing of Claire, so why would she just, like, equip a rocket? Why would she even be running around with a rocket launcher to even help her? And I always like Leon's final line there, too. It was a nice ending line. Not as good as one of Schwarzenegger's lines, but yeah. But anyway, yeah, I just do not trust game reviewers anymore. I mean, back in the day, I used to take their reviews into account, but it's like nowadays, you can't even do that. I mean, they gave... What other game did they give a really low score to? IGN gave... Actually, pretty much every reviewer gave Sonic Unleashed lower scores than Sonic 06. Sonic 06, a completely broken piece of garbage game that should never have been released in the state that it was in at that point. it was obviously barely out of like beta testing, and they released the game, but they gave that game a higher score than Sonic Unleashed, a completely competent game. The game does have its fair share of glitches, but the glitches aren't. The glitches are like glitches you find in any other game, like any other like mainstream game, I suppose. They aren't glaring glitches like they were in Sonic 06. The gameplay was fine in that game. The warehouse sections were boring. They were somewhat repetitive, but that doesn't mean that the game itself was bad, because the gameplay did work for those sections. The sections did try to break up some sort of monotony, I guess, but the speed sections were completely fine, especially once you memorized the levels and you kept trying to speed run through them as fast as you could. The game was really fun. It was just really undeserving of the flack that it took. Unlike Sonic Generations and Sonic Colors, which did get pretty good reviews. I didn't understand why Sonic Colors got better reviews than Unleashed, because I did prefer Unleashed, but Sonic Colors was definitely a really good entry in the Sonic series, and Sonic Generations was pretty much my favorite 3D Sonic game, but this is way off topic. But, yeah. I'm almost done with the game, and I am pretty sure that I am going to have a clear time that is about 1:30. I don't think it takes these cutscenes into account. At least I hope it doesn't.
I have the antidote.
But once again, if you guys want to see these cutscenes without me yammering on and on about things, be sure to watch my walkthroughs if you haven't already. I do shut up during the cutscenes, but I do have annotations over them.
Please wake up.
Just to make things a bit more interesting, I suppose.
Where am I?
But yeah,
Oh, Sherry.
as I was saying, it's really hard to take any of the media outlets for video gaming seriously at this point.
It's over.
I mean, Operation Raccoon City, I
I
somewhat
have to find my brother.
understand the reviews for.
This is just the beginning.
I think it mostly got around 5s, which is probably what I'd give the game if it wasn't for the co-op mode. And the glitches do make the game a lot more interesting. There was a point where my team and I were up against Mr. X, and the game just glitched out, so Mr. X was completely invincible. And one of my teammates had been revived, but he was stuck on the ground, spinning in circles, but he was also invincible like Mr. X. So it came to the point where 3 of us were down, and the only people alive were Mr. X and my teammate spinning around trying to shoot at him on the floor. It's things like that that made the game fun. Really, like, I don't know, it really adds to the game, in my opinion. The glitches kind of add to it. They can be really annoying if you're trying to play the game properly, because I, for the life of me, cannot get an S rank in any level in that game. The ranking system is completely different than it is in Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 4. Did Resident Evil 4 have a ranking system? I don't remember, but it's completely different than Resident Evil 5 and the Mercenaries games and Resident Evil Revelations, and that it takes into account how many secret items that you found throughout the level. So it's not really about how many enemies you killed or how fast you cleared the stage. You also have to find a certain amount of items and things like that. But I don't know, I just can't be bothered to get S rates in all the levels, to be honest. And of course, playing on professional mode is a real chore in that game. The enemies are bullet sponges and things like that, but I don't know. The game, I suppose, objectively is a 5, but subjectively, I think I'd give it maybe like a 6.5 or something like that, just because it's just a really good time to have other people to play with. But anyway, take out William Birkin here, who is a really easy boss, as always. As I said, throughout this entire game, Birkin is a pushover. The hardest form that you have to fight is probably the version where he's like that gigantic dog-like thing in the A game, when you're waiting for the elevator to come down. That's probably the hardest incarnation of William Birkin, to be honest. all the other incarnations of him are really simple to defeat. I mean, most of the time you barely even have to move. So, yeah, I don't see what the big deal about the G-Virus, or I don't see what the big deal is about the G-Virus. But yeah, this is it. I've lost control of Leon, and I'm completely done with the game, so... yeah, this run went pretty well, to be honest. Even with me yammering on and on about nothing, but... yeah, it's just like Seinfeld, but far less funny. So, yeah, Operation Raccoon City is a fun time to be had if you have people to play with and you're a fan of the source material. The Echo 6 team's missions are far better than the main campaign is, in my opinion. Even though the last few missions had not been released at this point in time. And it does suck that you actually have to pay for the majority of the missions. But for the most part, they are better. In my opinion, they should have been included with the disc. They should have just pushed the game back until they could have put all that on the disc. But then again, this is Capcom, so yeah. But as I was saying, it is a fun time to be had. It is nostalgic. And as long as you have people to play it with, it is a fun game, so...
which one's the right switch?
Yeah.
Maybe this one?
Thus ends my spiel upon game reviews and things like that.
Push the switch over there!
Got it!
But yeah, I'm really looking forward to Resident Evil 6. I'm also looking forward to the CG movie that's going to be released. That in particular, I'm really looking forward to. I really hope that it's sort of like... actually, I hope it's better than Degeneration was. Something that annoyed me about Degeneration was Claire just played second... or she was essentially pushed into the background so that other chick could have the limelight. I don't remember what her name was. But whoever that new character was, I didn't see any reason for her not to be Claire with Leon fighting against the G-Virus again. Or fighting against the main enemy. But I suppose they needed a reason for someone else to inject the G-Virus into them, but they could have still done that without having the baggage of another character that was related to the person who injected the G-Virus into them.
Time to leave.
Now? What's wrong? Is something following us?
We have to go. We don't have any time to waste.
Go? Where?
Where do you think,
Hey.
lady?
It's up to us to take out Umbrella.
Yes, and we will never get to play that section when we get to take down Umbrella. All of these games hinted at us getting to take down Umbrella, and none of them actually fulfilled that promise. I suppose you can count the Umbrella Chronicles thing, but I mean they were really building this up into a main game, and then Resident Evil 4 released, and it's just like, well, Umbrella's completely gone now, so yeah, deal with it. But yeah, that is it. That is Resident Evil 2 Leon B, a single section or single segment run, and I'm really happy with the way this run came out. Probably after I review this, I won't be as happy with the commentary that went along with it, but I'm happy with the gameplay for the most part. I did make a few stupid mistakes. A few annoying things did happen, like the liquor thing in the beginning. But, yeah. Pretty good. Special thanks to Microsoft Soft Image. Indeed. Yeah, but the only thing well, before this part, or before this video ends, well, I need to say something to sort of fill the time, because I do want to see how quickly I beat the game, but, I really wish that they got the voice actor from Resident Evil 4 back to voice Leon again in Resident Evil 6. It kind of sucks that he has a new voice actor there. I don't know why, they're continuously changing... or they're continuously changing Leon and Jill's voices. I mean, I really like Jill's voice from Resident Evil 5 also. I thought Her voice actress in that game was perfect, and then they completely changed it in Resident Evil Revelations to the woman who plays Rukia in Bleach. So every time I hear Jill talk now, I think of Rukia. Which isn't a bad thing, because I do like Rukia, but yeah, I don't know. It doesn't match Jill as much as her Resident Evil 5 voice did. But that's enough nitpicking. Resident Evil 2. So let's see what time I got. I'm hoping it's about 1:30. And Unforsaken is online. Nice. Thank you for making that cameo appearance, Unforsaken. Ah, it's 1:34. Well, that's a pretty good time, I think. And plus, I did do the thing where I had to pick up the side pack. Did that optional thing. So as you can see, I did get an A rank, even though I did use the first aid spray. So yeah, that debunks that whole rumor. And yes, I did unlock the Gatling gun. So yeah, that's the end of this video. So I guess I will see you guys in my Resident Evil Director's Cut walkthrough with Jill Valentine and my Metal Gear Solid walkthrough with Solid Snake. So I will see you guys in those, and later.